All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are live. We are live with the Provoke Coach podcast. I appreciate everybody jumping on. I know you'll probably be sporadically jumping on over the next couple of minutes here, but I have a very special guest, somebody that I've known for quite some time now. Him and I grew up in corporate America together. We worked together. We rubbed shoulders together. We competed together for one purpose and one joy, and that was really to hustle and make some money. Now we're at different parts of our life, but I have somebody that is a coach, a mentor, an entrepreneur, business owner, Mr. Willie Titus. Thank you so much for being on the Provoke Coach podcast tonight.
Hey, Clinton. Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Well, look, I know that, there's a lot of people on the line that really they know who you are, and I know who you are, right? I mean, we've, spent countless hours hanging out, birthday parties, coming up to my place and all that kind of stuff and having a good time. But I want to give everybody a chance to really know who Willie is and, really what you're doing right now. So can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
That's a tough one. Yeah, Willie Titus. Name, who I am is just a man. I mean, I'm what you see is what you get, man. I'm a husband, again, entrepreneur, football, just somebody that everybody can love. Let's say that.
Right, exactly. Well, and I guess let's talk about, first and foremost, let's talk about the fact that you're an entrepreneur. Okay, so let's talk about that for a little bit and talk about, I guess the hustle and the making the money. What do you do?
I didn't hear it. Can you repeat that?
Oh, okay. What do you do now for financial gain? What are you doing right now as far as your job, your career, the company that you own?
I'm an owner of a company, Swift Auto Transportation, which is just a transport broker company. So we just pretty much cars, trucks all over the United States. Team about 6, couple of managers. We sit back and take a vehicle, Texas to California, or wherever it goes. We're gonna make sure to get there in your time frame, and pretty much that's it. It's
awesome.
It's
I guess we were talking a little bit before we went live, and right now you have what, 6, 7 employees now?
Repeat that. You went out again.
Yeah. So you have 6, 7 employees now, or?
Yes. Yeah. We got 6.
6 employees now. Awesome. Excellent. And you and your wife, you guys obviously are the owners. So she helps you with a lot of the operations and stuff, and you handle, the other parts of the business then, or?
Yeah, we kind of double team it. If she's busy with the kids in schooling, because they're being homeschooled now, I'll take all the calls that I need to take and make sure everything. And if I'm when I leave in the afternoon to go to football practice, she takes over. So it's like a tag team thing. And we're in a business that don't sleep. Our business is 24 hours, 7 days a week. It never stops. So you can be up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5. Our business is going full speed ahead. It doesn't stop.
Wow. Wow. That's fantastic. So then so you have people then nationwide, or?
Well, we have what we call bidders, because we get most of our business from a site called UShip. So we have a couple bidders, and all they do is they bid on these cars. Bid on the cars, and like I said, the site never shuts down. It's 20. So I have an employee. She might wants to work from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And at the time, she probably can make enough money to be done for the week if she wants. But then you have hustlers, and hustlers don't stop. They go. I mean, I have one she's a really hustler. She wakes up, she goes. If she's up in the morning, she's bidding. Like it doesn't stop. And hustlers go get it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's, we're going to probably get into that, here in just a few minutes with, really where all that hustle came from and the type of business that you're in. But I guess, that aside, and we'll get into that in a bit, what attracted you to entrepreneurship? Because I know that you were, in corporate America for a while, obviously working for somebody else. What took place? Why did you get into this industry?
It's just where we started off, like you said, in corporate America, working, what was it, like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. some days, 12-hour days. And, once I started a family, it was going to work at 8 o'clock when my kids are getting ready for school and sleep, coming home at 8, 9 when the kids are going to sleep. So it was just like, man, can I do this until I'm 50, 60-year-old and don't know my kids? Right. I don't have time with them. So, I mean, right at that, it was like trying to find a way to actually start a business so I could have that freedom. And I kind of started off starting a business in the same industry. Just started a training business at Lighthouse Point. And when I found out how much time I had, like, oh, man, now my son's 3, 4. I can put him in the sport. I have time to actually be there. So that was probably one of my biggest moments of wanting to start my own business, just have never seen them. They're asleep when I go home. They're tired. I mean, my wife's tired. So that was my biggest moment.
Yeah, well, and that is a provoking moment in a man's life and in a father's life, is when you start to lose one of the most valuable assets that you have, which is time. Right. And you're right. Like your kids grow up very, very quickly. They grow up very, very fast. And it's like, whoa, I mean, am I going to be 55, 60, 65 years old and then wake up and be like, all right, I got some time now. And then, the kids are gone, right? The kids are, they're on, they're on their way. It's like, you snap of a finger and you lose it. So do you think that was kind of the motivating factor? Because you left corporate America and you worked for a smaller company, obviously still doing the same type of work, still managing, leading, sales, making somebody else rich, right? Like, and dedicating your time and dedicating your effort, that was, you think, the provoking moment that really kind of said, whoa, now that, Trey's going to be in school, right? Or, and start football and start these other sports. Now it's time to really kind of look elsewhere. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And like when we started, like the industry we're in now just happened to come to us from my wife's cousin. They were in the industry, they were doing well, and they kept talking about it. Like I had no clue about it. So I, wasn't much in it. I knew nothing about it, but they took a trip down and they came set, showed us how to do it, a couple of days of training, and it took off. And we started and it took off pretty like this. I love it now. I mean, it just gives me time. You can't get that. And it gives me time in the world to do anything I want to do, whenever I want. I have time to do it. And that's because you can't get that time back.
Yeah, and you can't. And having the luxury to be able to do things when you want to do it, right? Like if you have sports, you have an event, you have a tournament to go to, it isn't like, well, let me go ahead and put in my vacation time, or let me make up an excuse why I'm sick, or, like come up with something to get out of it. And that really kind of puts strain on an individual, when you're kind of, you're kind of forced, right? It's like, look, I gotta have the roof over my head, but yet I gotta be a good father, right? I gotta be a good role model, right? I gotta be a good leader. And that's such a tough gamble. It really is, because you give up a lot from that security of working for sometimes a large corporation, a large organization where, like you could be, and I hate to say it, you could be you could almost try to get fired, and because you're as good as what you are and people like you, you'll always have a job at these places, right? And it's tough to jump in with both feet, into entrepreneurship. I'm sure that you're seeing that. Well, I guess, all right, that part's cool, right? You got that part handled, right? So you found this awesome business opportunity for you and your wife to have the flexibility and the freedom to be able to work from home, still manage and lead others and sell, because I know you love sales, right? And it sounds like that's a huge part of this hustle and grind, that you get to do. Does it, obviously fulfilling wise, I mean, that's got to be something there that, is pretty interesting. Where did this coaching come from? Right? I mean, talk to us a little bit about this, because what people don't know on the phone, and they know now, right? Or they know listening, but they might not know Willie. Talk to me about the coaching. Where did that come from? What happened here?
When coaching came, my son got to do a sport. And we used to train in the yard a lot. I mean, we started young, and we used to do a lot of training. And then flag football came up. And so when we took him out for flag football, the NFL league, they needed coaches. And I was like, okay, I am. So I decided to start coaching. And trust me, it wasn't easy, because they were 3, 4, and 5. So getting those kids to actually want to pay that was crazy. But I had a way with them, and the way I had with them, parents loved it. So I got these little kids, and I'm starting to get them disciplined, and the parents are looking like, he got little Johnny to stand in line, never stands up. So, I mean, as I kept going along, it became more fun to me. Like, oh, man. So now, and like the leagues were, if you were not like in the in crowd, you only got the kids that were left over. So you would have teams that were nice and stacked up, and you and the other 2 coaches might just get a put together team. So I found it enjoyable to be able to teach the kids that were not supposed to be winning how to beat the teams that were winning, just from like basic football knowledge. And that's like struck a passion. And from there, I just kept going.
Well, and what you probably don't realize, and everybody that's watching right now, they realize very, very quickly that as soon as we change the subject from adulthood and hustling and making money, things that people, right, they hype up a lot, especially like in social media, like what kind of car are you driving? What kind of house are you in? What kind of success have you had? But you lit up like a Christmas tree when we changed the subject. I mean, your smile, I mean, it's just infectious. You just lit up like a Christmas tree the minute that we started talking about coaching. The minute that we started talking about these kids, you changed. And that right there, we know, ladies and gentlemen, that's passion, right? So let's dig a little bit deeper into this, okay? So I enjoy coaching as well. I got a chance to coach through a company or a program called I9 Sports, right? And it's not quite as aggressive as some programs. It's really light to see if your kid wants to be able to play a sport, see if they can understand, see if they like it, the whole 9 yards before you go and really start investing more time and effort. Kids are fantastic, but you're right. When they're itty bitty like that, it's like, wow, that kid is not picking his nose anymore, right? Like, standing in line and really playing. Where did I mean, obviously I've seen you, online training, with your son, and I've seen the progression and all the moves, but I also know you come from a fitness background. Do you think that helped you, deal with kids, because you've taught adults essentially how to take care of themselves? And, talk with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would definitely, because in the fitness and you're training, remember some of my 70 and 80-year-old women and men that I train, they're almost like back to kids. So for them to do the things the way it had to be done, it was teaching a kid to do the same thing. So that helped out big. I mean, it helps structure. Got to learn structure, how to set up workouts, how to set up program, how to set regiments. So, which translate when dealing with the little ones. We got regiments. We got to we got to teach them how to continue to do stuff like like back to corporate America where we worked at, like training, not like physical training, but the mental training of the same that we had. They taught us a lot. Repetitions. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep training, and it helps me with what I'm doing now.
Yes. And, so I guess let's talk a little bit about the program itself. Was it a smaller program and now has grown and started to really have a lot more involvement? Has it always been that size, or has it just really been this has been more new for you and your impact, I guess, since you started doing it?
Well, it's new. It's new for me. This is only, I think this would be going into my third season. So the program, the program, which is PSLAA, or the Port St. Lucie Predators, but the organization is PSLAA. They've been around a very long time. And I think they just got into the travel football aspect of it probably 2 years ago, I think they just got into the travel, and it's a completely different ball game. So just getting into it. Yeah. And I got into it on the travel side. So I got to see it. Like, I did not know it was anything like it really is. I thought it was like, sign up, play football, same park every Saturday, not really caring if you win or lose, but you want to win, type of deal. And like when we got in this, it's different. This is not caring if you win or lose, but you want to win. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
This is like, you want to win. So you want to put the kids in the best situation to win. Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun. Like, for me, like, it's just fun.
Yeah, of course.
No one owes me anything. I'm having fun.
Well, and that's the thing too, is you've kind of taken, they say that a lot of times when you take the monetary portion of anything out and you eliminate it, right? You don't even make it, because this is not how it works. And it's just about your coaching. It's just about those kids. And it's just about the impact that you can make in their lives just from one season, because, kids come at you, they're timid, they're scared. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know if they want to compete. They don't know what good, healthy competition is. They don't know what good sportsmanship is. There's all sorts of things that our kids are being given now, especially like in social media and online, to where it's not the information that we took in. That'd be like if we were just growing up watching rated R movies, like, constantly, I mean, at all ages, they're getting bombarded with different things. What do you think that, I guess, every coach that I know has a certain gift that they know, that they hold, maybe even versus some of the other coaches? You do it like that's your thing. What is that thing for you?
Man. I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm going to use the word love. Yeah. I love them all. Every last one of those little kids that have a special place in my heart. Not even the little ones. I mean, kids in our organization that are on like the bigger teams. I like seeing them. I like when they come up to me, hey, coach, like, some of them I might not even know your name. Hey, Cody, what's up?
Right.
It's just this enjoyment. Like, yeah, man, yeah, they love it. They like what I'm doing. I like what I'm doing. I just like, I got to keep using that word love, I guess.
Yeah, and that's something that's powerful.
A lot.
Yeah, and that's powerful that you said that, Willie, because it is love. People can feel that. People truly know if you care about them. and I believe that that is definitely true. I mean, you've always been that type of individual, even with me. Like, look, I mean, at one time, I was your boss, and, we became friends, right? You know why, though? It's really simple. Like, I know a lot of people. I have tons of friends, of course, but you know what? It's the friends that are friends back that are the most important ones, right? Like, I remember I had, a birthday party here for my daughter. I invited you, I invited a couple other guys and their kids because I thought, hey, kids party, they have kids, maybe they'll like to come. That'll be nice, and you had the farthest to drive out of everybody else, right? And you came all the way up with your family to come and visit, my family. And, look, we were able to break bread together. Like that is love. You know what I mean? Like, that's your true identity. And I guarantee those kids can feel it. And I guarantee the parents can feel it. Like, we're getting all sorts of messages right now. They're coming in hot, right? It's like that song, coming in hot, like it's, it's infectious, right? And that's what's important. Well, let me ask you a couple other questions really about this coaching, because I know that this is what you're most passionate about. What kind of age groups do we have here? Like, are we talking like Pee Wee League, 8 and 9 year olds all the way up into teenage type age, or does it go that far?
Yeah, it goes from 6U to 14U. So everybody plays pretty much with their age group. 6-year-olds plays with 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds play with 7-year-olds, 8 play with 8. But an 8 could play with a 9 if he wanted, but a 9 couldn't come down and play with an 8. No weight limit. It's just strictly based on your age, and it goes all the way up to 14.
Yeah, and this is tackle, right? I mean, this is not just touch or flag football. I mean, this is the real deal.
No. This is tackle football. This is real football.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, did you play growing up? I mean, did you play at this age? Yeah, that your son's playing in, and a lot of these other guys and gals.
Yeah, I played. I know a couple of other coaches that I played with that are over here.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice. That's fantastic. So I guess, as you're into coaching, I mean, what do you think is, I guess, because being on the other side, right, and being a coach, I used to get a little bit irritated with some of the parents, right? And some of the parents that were, I don't want to say negative always, but definitely not building confidence, right, in their kids, right? Not being a confidence builder. Do you have any kind of pet peeves that just drive you nuts about the parents? There's got to be something.
Man, to be honest with you, I don't, because we have a great group, and that's just being honest. We have a great group. We started. We were playing during the COVID, and they were on call. Our group was like, okay, we would find out Friday nights, like, okay, you got a game Saturday in Fort Lauderdale, and our parents would be like, okay, and it was just it's awesome. We got a great group. Our parents are what keeps us going, and
nice.
I haven't ran into that problem, with the parents screaming about anything. They're going to get on the refs if they feel like the call's bad. But I have something that I do when I call it in the box. When I get on the football field, I'm in the box. I'm in the booth. I'm closed up in the booth, mic'd up. I don't hear anything behind me. So even if they're screaming, I'm probably not gonna. I've already boxed them out. I'm not gonna hear them. So I could make a bad call, and it might be a parent that, coach, you suck. I won't even hear them, acknowledge them. Because I'm inside of that booth. I got to focus on these 18, 25 kids, making sure they're in the right place, doing the right thing, keeping them safe, whatever it is. I don't have time to hear anything behind me. So getting into it, or
that's fantastic.
Parents, in the booth.
You're getting in this, in the zone or in the booth, like you said, and you're turning everybody else off. And that's important, right? Like, I mean, I think that a lot of people, parents especially, right? They make it more about, like, they try to live vicariously through their kids. I'm sure that you've seen this. I'm sure you've experienced it in one way, shape, or form. It's like they try to, whatever they're insecure about, they really try to, through their kids, kind of live this lifestyle. So that's great that you got a good crew. It sounds like that's definitely not the crew. Maybe it's just some of the areas that I've coached in, but nonetheless, well, that's fantastic. So I guess let's turn back time a little bit, Willie. Let's, kind of tell people, essentially where you came from. So where did you grow up? I mean, I guess talk to me about some moments that were, I guess, provoking along the way growing up that kind of had you, kind of pivoting in life a little bit.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is like right next to now in Port St. Lucie. One of my biggest reason, and I know we don't talk about it much for coaching, is when I played youth football, baseball, everything growing up, and I never really had coaching. I had coaches, but I didn't have coaching, and like with me and my son, my dad I never got to play a lot of catch and whatever, because he had, a family of 5, dad had to work. So I didn't get a lot of, hey, let's play catch, whatever. So that actually drives me too, because I go through and I got kids like me. I got some kids like me that don't have a father figure in their life. The father's not around. And I like to pick them up and say, yeah, come over. Let's go swimming, let's do things that I know my neighborhood don't get a chance to do much, because I didn't get a chance to do it much. So I think that's another thing that drives me with a lot of the kids, especially my kids from the inner city, because there's just a lot of stuff that I wanted to do that it just wasn't happening. We couldn't do it, And so I want to give all these kids that opportunity to have that fun growing up. So do get older, it's not for them just to go get in a pool, it's not new for them to go play catch, okay, that's the work, but Coach Willie will come get me and we'll play catch, we'll train, it's just things. My provoking moment, if I really wanted to go back, go ahead.
Well, I guess just to kind of piggyback on what you were going to say right there, is that, and what you said, it's pretty powerful, is that you gave them something that you weren't able to experience so much as a kid. So that's your way of really kind of providing that and giving back. But you said something that it was almost like you don't want that to be the first time that they've, kind of went and hung out at the pool, or the first time that they went through some training, right? Because you're right. Or tossing the football even around, like, that's, I mean, when I'm out shooting the basket with, basketball with my daughter, like, she's evolved over the years. If I wouldn't have been shooting the basketball, or my wife hadn't been playing basketball with her, she would have never developed any sort of, skills. And then she would have never wanted to play and actually do sports. So it's powerful what you said there, Willie, is that you didn't want it to be the first time either, not just the experience now, right?
Right.
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely.
So you were going to peel back the onion, I guess, a little bit, the provoking moment.
Right. Yeah. My provoking moment. I mean, I have so many provoking moments. This is insane. Like my biggest provoking moment is 2007 in August.
Okay.
And I mean, it was the day I was released from federal prison. So, I mean, getting released from prison, I was in New Jersey, and I was coming to West Palm, which didn't live in West Palm, but I was going to a halfway house. And as I'm riding that bus, it's just clear to me, like, what am I don't have a job lined up. I don't have a place lined up. What do I do? And so that's how I got into corporate America. Just from there, I had a friend that worked there, and he was like, man, do you really want a job? And I was like, yeah, a job. I mean, I got nothing else. I'm not going back into the streets. I want to make a difference. And so when he did take me down there and he got me that job, I stayed there for years. See, that was my provoking moment. Like I'm not going back to that stuff. So got to make a change with myself. And then met my wife, started a family, and there's more provoking moments. It just got to chat. Knew I had to make changes, not just for me, because my life, once I started having more kids, my life was not about me anymore. You know?
Right.
It was about them. So I got to make sure things are right for them more than for me.
Well, and I guess that was
one of my biggest provoke moments.
Yeah, and that's funny that you say that. So you were, so it's August, it's, 2007, right? Is that what you said? 2007.
Yeah.
And you're on a bus coming down to West Palm, which anybody that's been around here, West Palm, like it's not like the easiest area, right, to be, thrown down into to kind of find work and, and to find an opportunity. And I guess at that point, it was either you make it or, you're back to where you started. And, so that was one of these provoking moments. And then you're right. Now that you're married with a wonderful wife, which she's fantastic. Hopefully she's watching. I'm sure she is. But, your family, right? So now you have to not just live for yourself. You have to live for others. So it's not just about you anymore. And that's pretty powerful. And that kind of really kind of took you to planting more roots and really kind of, getting tightened in, right? I mean, just with life in general, because I remember when your kids were younger, they're still young, but I remember when they were, really, really small, right? Yeah. Baby babies, right? Well, that's fantastic, man. So, for you, throughout the years, like you said, you kind of grew up in a huge family. So there was 5 kids, or there was 3 others and then your 2 parents then? Okay, got it. So there was 5 other kids.
5 kids, wow. 2 adults. Yeah.
Wow. 5 kids. Adults there as well. So, was it tough? Did you grow up, with good influences? Were they just working a bunch of hours and kind of leaving you kids, astray, or what?
Well, well, it was great. They both worked. So we, I had older brothers, older sister, we were able to take care of ourselves when our parents went home, or when they got home. I ain't got to say it, but we knew what was going on.
Right. So, yeah. No, 100%. So a large family. Large family. Did you start working, I guess, at a young age as well? Or were you like the rest of us that just got in trouble all the time? That was kind of me growing up. I was kind of a jerk, from time to time. Right. What happened with that? Did you what did you do after high school or throughout high school?
Well, I started working in high school because quick story. I got today's they would call it bullying today, but back then it was just whatever. I got a job because again 5 kids, so name brand's not in our household. So I went to high school in a pair of shoes, and I'm gonna give you the name of them, called Winner's Choice.
Wow,
but they look like Adidas.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so that's how I was going. Well, they look like Adidas. I don't really know much about name brand. Cool. And I was walking through the cafeteria, and there was this class clown, and he screamed it out in front of the whole cafeteria. Hey, what kind of shoes do we have on? And when I say I walked through that cafeteria, I went from 0 to 100 so fast to get out of there. And when I got home, I got on my bike, and I went and found a job the same day. I found a job as a busboy in this restaurant called Fisherman's Restaurant. And that was just a moment that I got embarrassed, but I did something about it. I went and got me a job. And within, I got my first paycheck, and I went and bought me a name brand pair of shoes.
Nice. For me, it was Jordache. It was this is when the Reebok pumps came out, and Jordache had kind of an off-brand pump it, it wouldn't even fill with air. the tongue. But so that's fantastic. So you got bullied, right? And excuse me. And that really forced you to go out and get a job so that way you don't get bullied again. Interesting. That's quite interesting how that happened. That is provoking. I mean, what a story right there. Like, so if you are not satisfied with the situation that's at hand and it causes you pain, then do something about it, right? Like you went and got a job. Now you kept that job, I'm assuming, right? You didn't just buy the shoes and, and then just, quit, right? You still worked there all throughout high school then? Or? Yeah, nice.
I worked there for a while and,
Yeah. What happened after that? What happened after high school? And I mean, did you go to school after that? Did you go to trade school? Did you go get a job? Better job? Whatever. You went to the military. Talk to us about that.
Military. After high school, I went to the military, stayed in the military for a couple years and decided I wanted to get into a fight and got put out.
Okay, got it. Well, I hope you won.
I got put out.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I mean, and then I guess what happened after that? So that's a provoking moment, I guess, in your life as well, is that you get into a fight. Obviously, you get discharged. Okay, it happens. What happened after that?
Came back home, started working odd jobs, couldn't really, find a stable job. So I was pretty much just working like little restaurant jobs here and there, hanging out with friends, the noodle, drinking, smoking, having fun when I'm not working.
Sure.
Pretty much living a life that's going nowhere. Let's just say that.
Right.
Living a life that wasn't going nowhere. 21 years old, still living with mom and dad. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. And what really kind of, got you to move in a different direction, I guess, in that point?
Oh, this is going to be a hard one. What moved me in a different direction was a friend of mine came up with a whole bunch of weed to sell.
Okay. Got it. So you got into the cannabis industry, right? Maybe a little prematurely. Okay, got it.
I mean, I like to keep it real, so I ain't gonna sugarcoat anything at all.
Listen, this is what this is about. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, it just wasn't as popular back then, or it was just not it is now.
So, and that led me down a wrong path for a lot of years.
Yeah.
It led a wrong path from a lot of years until 2007 when that had to change.
Got it. So, that obviously, you had a little bit of fun and then, you got into a little bit of trouble. Obviously things were different back then, but, again, a lifestyle that, taught you a lot, right? Because, everybody has something that was a learning experience, and it's like when we teach kids how to grow up and they first start learning how to walk, you want to save them, you want to hold them, you want to make sure that they don't fall and hurt themselves. But then after a while, you're like, fall harder next time, because you want that child to build up that tolerance and understand what it's all about, right? To get their own balance, to fall, to have, and that's like things that we go through in life, right? These provoking moments, they change who you are instantly. And sometimes it takes 10 years, right? Or it takes 5 years or 24 months or whatever the case is to really kind of get you, to open up and wake up. But now you came out on fire because now not only have you been successful in business and sales and really, not ever having to worry about wearing name brand shoes again, right? You could buy whatever type of shoes that you want now, but that gave you that part of your life. But now that taught you how to really create this passion for coaching, and really providing and giving back that, you and I were talking before the call before the broadcast, and we were talking about fulfillment, and we were talking about what it means to really be fulfilled, right? And really, just like when I just said, when, we started, chatting a little bit about coaching, your face lit up, right? You got this big smile, you got super excited, your voice inflection changed. It was just absolutely fantastic, man. And I got to tell you and I ask everybody this question, what is one piece of advice that you could give somebody that, they could be listening now or years down the line for all we know? What nugget can you give them? What advice can you give them? And it could be life, it could be business, it could be anything that you want, but what is some advice that you could give to our listeners?
The biggest advice I would give is when you put your mind to something, just do it. Don't give up, do it. And to do anything and be successful at it, you got to train. And I'm not talking about physical training. I'm talking about you got to train yourself mentally. You got to, you got to study whatever your craft is. Like right now, I study a lot of football. I mean, I know football, but there's so much I don't know about running a defense and running offenses that I study now, because like I said, if we're going to push the kids we're going to push these kids where we're pushing them, got to push ourselves. We got to study ourselves. We got to make sure we put them in great situations. So that would be the biggest nugget that I gave anybody. And I learned that through corporate America. Like they drove us.
Sure.
They drove us hard, but they trained us. They put us in the right spot to learn the things we learned, that anytime running somebody to sell, we were prepared for that situation from training. And that's what I would give,
That is fantastic, brother. I mean, training, it is training, what I mean? And so many people associate training with the physical body, and they forget about all the training and mental preparation that you need, because before your body can go anywhere, your mind needs to be there and your mindset needs to be trained. And sometimes that takes imposed demand, right? And sometimes that takes being broken down and tore down and being at the lowest of the low before you can now exceed. Because just like your story, I mean, sure, you had a step back, right? Years and years and years ago, BS, but now look where it got you. So it's almost like, wow, what if it didn't happen? What if, right? What if you never had to buy those shoes? You know what I mean? Like, and what if they were, a new set of Jordans or whatever the case is? Like, how would that make things different? And that's where the training comes in, though. Just like you said, that nugget is life has its way of training you both mentally and physically. You just have, and that's what people need to do on a regular basis. That's fantastic, brother. Well, listen, man, it's been awesome. I mean, you and I can talk probably all day long. We've done that before. We've we've sat in the rain, here at my place and just talking for hours, just like we could. But man, so many nuggets you gave us tonight. And and look, I know that I'm not in Port St. Lucie, I'm in West Palm, but your parents and their kids really, really appreciate what you do. I can tell. I mean, look, I'm getting messages from people I don't even know, and they're like, "Man, that Willie, you get him on that show. He's the man." And I tell you, you got a lot of love, but you know what? It's only because of the love that you give, right? It's only that one thing that you project throughout those kids, and that you're helping, man. You're saving lives, like you said. You are truly saving lives of our youth. Right. And that's really, really important. Well, look, Willie, stay on just for a couple of minutes after the call here and after the broadcast. But everybody else, look, share this with somebody, send the message. Willie and I are going to be, running some sponsorships to raise some money after we get all this downloaded on Spotify and on iTunes. So definitely share it if you like it. Subscribe, of course, through iTunes, through Spotify. And as always, look, provoke positive change in people. And then, of course, peak performance. And by God, do something about it right now. We'll talk to you soon.